So what we will do is now we'll explore the data, reshaping the data. Okay, how do we rotate the data? Is it possible to rotate the data? Yes, that is possible with the transpose and pivoting. What do you mean by pivoting? Converting the rows into columns. The opposite is unpivoting. Very simple. And we have something else called reverse rows. That option is also available. What I will do is I'll just go here and I will load some data. With that data, you can quickly understand. I'm going to load expense.xls file. All these files are available in GitHub and here. And GitHub, you don't have to clone the GitHub. Instead, what you do is you can download it as a zip file. Okay. And here, look here, I just select these columns. Yeah, this is the one, this sheet. Okay, this Excel file, I have 2 sheets in it. This is the one I needed, and so I selected this one, and then I just hit OK. We are done, good. So, now we will explore what is pivoting is all about. Okay, how do we do pivoting? I just click on the transform ribbon, and here you will find the pivot column here. We will find the pivot column. Sorry, pivot option here. Okay, with this we can perform the pivoting of our existing data set. Okay, so in this case, right, so why do we need, first of all, what is pivoting? I discussed converting the rows into columns. That is what pivoting. Why do we need to convert the rows into columns? Why do we need to convert rows into columns? So sometimes, right, when you do the pivoting, the report looks a bit compact. Instead of lengthy one, it will be a compact one. Okay, you can analyze the numerical data in detail, and also it can help us to answer some unexpected questions about our data. Sometimes you wouldn't have thought about it, certain things. Okay, so it helps us, the pivot table, it helps us to answer some unexpected questions about our data. So now what we will do is we will start with the pivot column option. I selected currently the year column here. I'm going to click on the pivot column now. Remember that I selected the column. You have to select a column first, okay? And then you need to do the pivot. And here what I did, we have 2 columns, month and expenses, excluding this one, okay? I just select the expenses, the numerical value, okay? So what I want to do is I wanted to convert the year row, the values of the year, right, into columns. Look here, if I select the drop down here, we have 3 years data. It's all displayed, it's all available in the form of rows. Instead, I want to have 2020, 2021, 22, 2022 columns. I want to rotate this. Okay, I want to convert the rows into columns. So now what I do is I just select this one and click on pivot column. And here I want to, do the pivoting based on the expenses. Now you see here, okay, what I will do is I will just unpivot it. I will take the duplicate of this one so that you can compare both. Okay. And here I just go and select the pivoting, and here I just say expenses, and then I'll go look here. And if you see the original data, you need to scroll down, isn't it? You need to scroll down. But whereas in this case, after I did the pivoting, it is pretty compact. You don't have to scroll down. Everything is available in the single page itself. And the next one is, let me do one thing here. I just do one more. Instead of duplicate, you can select reference here. Okay, reference here. The duplicate would consume a lot of resources if your data have huge number of records. In that kind of situation, you can select reference here. Okay, this is kind of a view. How many of you are aware of view in RDBMS? This kind of, pointing to this one. This is not a duplicate of this file, this query. Okay. And what I do is, in this case, it shows only the pivoting one. So what I do is I just select all the 3 columns except this one. I'm going to click on the unpivot. Now my columns became rows. With pivot, you can convert the rows into columns. That's why the year 2020, 2021, 22 are appeared as a columns. Now I want to revert it back to the original state, unpivot. So but when it does the unpivot, it gives some some common name or attribute value. We know very well this is nothing but the year. You need to rename the column here. Similarly, this column also you need to rename it. This is your expenses. What do you mean by value? Is that revenue or expenses? You need to give some meaningful value by renaming it. Good. You might be asking this one, this and this same. Yeah. Not this one. Look here. This is my original data, right? So my original data is something like this. Okay. And this one and unpivot, both of them are same. You did some kind of pivoting and then you want to do some kind of unpivoting. Wait. I just rename it as pivot. So this is so compact and you can compare quickly for example, if you want to do some kind of sort descending, you can quickly make out, right? So the 2020 ninth month, all the ninth month, the spend is more good. But whereas here it is little bit different in the case of 2022. Okay. Then ninth month, we could see that here. Let me just go here. Can you do descending for more than one column? No, right? So you cannot do descending. Look here also descending, here also descending. But okay, what I will do is I'll just select this one. And then we will select both column. Yeah, you have to go here only, start. You cannot do it for 2 columns. Like, can we do it in Excel? Even Excel also, it is not that easy, right? You cannot do it. So what we will do is, yes, this is the one. We can see that the pivoting of expenses. So we can see that in 2020, this is the highest expense. Probably you can clear this off. Okay, order dot ascending. You can modify this one also. Let us give it a try. But somehow I did it, but I don't remember it. In the past, I did it. Only these 2 columns. I want no, it is not okay. List. These are the okay. What I will do is I will just use the. But I I remember only the Python pandas. In pandas, if you want to specify more than one value, you need to use the list. And here also it says a list. Let's see what happens here. No, pivoted column. Here you cannot specify more than one column. Let me just see here if I do something like this. No, you cannot do that. But with the help of this one, you can quickly make out, right? So at least you can do it one after other. 18,100 and here also 18,000. If you see here from the bottom, right? So, here we spent more on the ninth month, 8th month, and including the second month. Here also the same thing, but whereas here it is not doing it correctly. Yeah, in the data view, I think even the data view, I don't think so. We can select more than one column. So we can do it, one by one. Some merge columns, okay, fine. So now we understood with this, how do we do the pivoting? How do I do the unpivoting? So this is where I did the unpivoting. Look here, unpivoted columns, year expenses. The attribute got replaced by year, and the value got replaced with expenses. That is what we can see that. Look here, this is the unpivoted thing. Now I just go here, and then I will just take a reference of this one again. And here what I do is, but better let me delete it. This is for learning purpose. Pivoting of expenses. If you see here, if you duplicate this, what is going to happen? All the steps you are getting it back. Look here, this one. What are the steps are there? You can get it here itself. But when you use the reference, you will not get all the steps. Okay. But if you make any changes to the parent query, that one will get reflected in your reference query. The opposite is not possible. First of all, he is not allowing you the steps, right? But you can do the steps that are, you can apply the step that are excluding the step that you already applied it. Okay, here what I do is, I just, undo that pivoting option. This time, I just do the pivot column on month column. And if I do this one, what will happen here? All the 12 months have gone here. Sorry, 9 months, right? 9 months are appearing. The rows became columns on the month, and the expenses, we can see that where is that year? Year is not there, right? So what I will do is I'll just unpivot. So what I will do is I will select the column, categorical column, and do the pivoting. And instead of doing it on year values column, I just select the expenses. It really makes sense. In 2020, month one, how much expense? See, now we have rotated the data. We converted the columns into rows. Okay, pivoting of expenses to by month. Okay, got it. So now what I am going to do is I just select and duplicate this. Okay. So in this case, also I did the pivoting, but this time I have selected the month. I did the pivoting on month. So here I did the pivoting on, let me just put it here, pivoting on the year. Instead, we will give better name. So the pivot means, pivot on year means convert the rows of year into columns. Pivot on month means convert the rows of month into columns. Look here, months, became column. Month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5. And the next one is what I did here. I did the pivot on month for expenses here already. I just copy pasted it here. Simply, I just duplicated it so that I can get all the steps again. And this time what I do is I just unpivot it. Okay. Okay. What I will do is I'll do the pivoting here on the expenses. Okay. And the next step is I want to unpivot it now. Okay. You did some kind of pivoting. Okay. You are seeing that, okay, it's fine. Everything is okay. Fine. You did some kind of analysis. Okay. Okay. And the next step is you want to do some kind of unpivot. In the unpivot, there are three different options. When you simply click on this, the column will become rows into columns, right? That is what your pivot. The opposite is columns into rows. These columns, if you want to convert it back to rows, you can click on this one. But before you click on this, you need to select all the columns that you wanted to unpivot. You need to hold the control key and then select all the columns. One after the other, you need to select it, isn't it? If you have 24 months, you need to hold the control key and select it one after other, right? Multi-select, that is how you can do it. How you can do it? By holding the control key, otherwise it is not possible. So now what I do is I just select the year and I have another option here, the beautiful option, unpivot other columns. Except this column, rest of the columns, you unpivot it. In this case, I don't have to select all the other columns, which I want to unpivot, right? Select the column, and you click on this one, rest of the columns will get selected automatically, and then it does the unpivoting. But again, you need to specify, rename this one. This is your month and this is your expenses. You need to specify it explicitly. You need to rename it. That's all. And here expenses. Sorry, I just give some proper name. And I press enter. Good. Unpivot other columns. Now we explode it. Okay. And what other things we have? Unpivot only selected columns. Don't unpivot all the columns. Only the selected columns. Now you tell me when can we do this one? Unpivot only the selected columns. How can you do that? Now you tell me when can I do this one? When can I unpivot? Unpivot is nothing but convert your columns into rows. Okay. And okay, what I will do is I will just go here, unpivot other columns. This is fine. Unpivot only selected columns. Okay, this column I want to do unpivoting. So when I do unpivoting, what will happen? Rows into columns, you're pivoting. The opposite, columns into rows. Here it shows something like that, year, something like that. Okay, 2020. It doesn't make any sense. It was showing earlier 2021. Along with that, it puts something like this. This is not much helpful. And can you tell me when we can use this one? Let me see how many of you can tell this one. Unpivot, only selected columns. Same thing, you manually go and select everything and click on this one. It does whatever the job did by this one. This is the one is pretty straightforward. Now you just think and tell me when we can use this option, unpivot, when we can convert the rows into columns. Sorry, columns into rows. So this one looks good. Okay. And if I, let me do one thing. I wanted to do one more thing here. Let me select this one. And one student asked this question. What we'll do is we'll select these two columns and pivot column. And here I just do the expenses. Can I select more than one column to do the pivoting? Yes, it is same. Okay, and it is same as the previous one. Unpivot only selected columns, right? Selected columns in the sense, yeah, you need to select all the columns. And then, so these two are more or less same. These two more or less, sorry, the last one and the first one, 1 and 3 are same. It involves kind of manual thing, but whereas this one is not manual, okay? Supposing you have the quarter column is there. Q1, Q2, Q3 is there in this data set. In that case, if you select that specific column and if you do the unpivot, only that selected column, what will happen? Columns will become rows, okay? So you will have here, along with that quarter, it will be Q1, Q2, Q3, and then it will be displayed here, okay? You can give it a try. So in the existing data, you just put some dummy data in the sense expenses file, you open it, create an additional column where you put Q1, Q2, Q3, okay? And then you just see it here. Look here. So this is what my original data. Okay. So month. In addition to that, you put one quarter here. Okay. 20 and 2020. Somewhere, this is month 1, month 2, month 3 is Q1. And 4, 5, 6, your Q2 and Q3. Q4 is not there. Q1, Q2, Q3, you put it. Q1, Q1. And then give it a try with that one. Okay. What we will do is we will create another custom column. But here we cannot, insert the data here. We cannot input the data here. Can you use column from examples? We cannot, yeah, we can use it, but it is not much helpful. Or else we'll go to the data and we will try it out. So here, I just try expenses. Month 1, these are all Q1, right? Sorry, these are all falls under Q1 and Q1. This is going to be Q2. Okay, month 4, 5, and 6, and 7 is your Q3. Simply you copy paste it here. It did not take much time, right? Okay, next I just save it and then I just close it here. Okay, and how do I reflect that data here? So what for that, you need to select the home and refresh preview. Click on the refresh preview. Let us see if that data is getting refreshed here. It is not getting refreshed here. Instead, I just close and apply. Okay, I should have checked it in the source, not here. Supposing you, after you loading the data into your Power BI desktop, in this case, I've used the Excel file. After you load the data from your Excel into Power BI desktop, and then later, right, later sometime if you include new data, how will you include the newly included data? So only thing is you need to click on this. For example, here, if I select my expenses here, This is my kind of original data set, right? And if I go and refresh, you don't have to reload it. Click on the refresh so that it will go and establish a connection with your underlying operating system file. Whatever the latest change you made, it should come here, but it is not coming here. Let me just check. Expenses. The problem is we changed it different time, right? So that is the problem here. So, okay, it should come here. Let me just open and see the expenses. Or maybe here it was using two sheets. I have selected only expenses, right? Oh, look here, it did not get saved here. Expense Q1, Q2, Q3. Why it was not, it did not get saved? And this is an Excel file only, correct? Okay, I will try one more time. I think, yeah, this one comes into effect here, and the expenses. They selected some values here while saving it, it seems. No, it is coming out clearly, but when I refresh it, something is happening here. When I do the refresh, okay, the error code country and says load was cancelled by an error in loading previous file. Okay. OLE column year in the table contains a duplicate will 20 and this is not allowed. Okay, it is getting confused with that one. Best thing for this alone, I'm going to, for this demonstration, expenses 1. But when I apply changes, it will refresh it again. No, expenses is considered second one. Okay, good. Expenses, if you see here, yeah, quarter here and all is there, fine. So I just go here and then select transform data and transform data here. So now we have columns like this. And if I go here and then transform and pivot column, in this case, when I select the expenses, we can see that, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. And unpivot, we know that except this rest of the columns, except these two columns, rest of them, if I do it, unpivot, if I do unpivot, original data, I'll get it. Okay, from columns to rows, it will get converted. Unpivot other columns, except the rest of them. I don't have to manually select it. Fine. Unpivot only selected columns. Okay, here I just give it a try. Unpivot only select, but this is also not much helpful, right? Yeah, correct. It will display something like this: quarter Q1, Q2, Q3. Ideally, I just drag this here. You can drag the columns here, and I just select these two things. And if I wanted to pivot, yeah, Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1, Q2, Q3 is there right here. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column, and then I just go here and then I do the unpivot only the selected columns. Will it work here? The same thing, right? It is not much helpful. There is no point in giving the data here. So what I thought in each year, Q1, Q2, okay. So what the only advantage is here we can do it this way. So now it is rows. If I do the pivoting again, the expenses already we did it on expenses. We cannot do anything, right? So let it be there and unpivot only selected columns. Okay, this will become the same thing here. So okay, this is not much helpful. Let me do one thing. So columns to rows, I can do that. You know, the columns and to rows. But unpivot only selected columns, what you can do is the same thing. Yeah, nothing great about it. Okay, even if you add it. So only thing is each year and which quarter you will, how much expenses be incurred. That's all. Okay. Okay, rather this. Okay, the same thing, right? For example, I wanted to select the quarter here, and then I just want to do pivoting. We will do it that way, and expenses here. Q1, Q2, Q3. So if you see Q1, all the values are 0 here, right? So null here. Q2, Q3 is null. We try with different options, okay? And but if you do pivot, this one will not come, right? So month. Okay, let me do one thing. I just select the year, but when you do this, it will show all the year. That is the problem. Yeah, year. So year values column year. Okay, here Q1, Q2, Q3, and then all the months. We are getting it. And what about the year? What about the year here? Is this the right way of doing? Look here. You can see the year 2022, and okay, it has gone here. So what I will do is I will leave this 2022 is here, 2021 here, and this is not much helpful, but try to improve this one, okay, and see what best you can do it, okay, and in order to justify this one, give some convert this in a meaningful format, okay. All right, so with this I'm going to wrap up. Sorry, Sri, I just started a little early because others also were available. We started because in between I got disturbed. Someone called and I woke up and my sleep got disturbed, and I thought some issues were there, office issues. I thought little early. Any of you can watch today's video, Sri. I don't disturb you by calling you and all. So you watch this one, okay? And I started a little early today by 6 a.m. Right? So you can watch it, and the rest of them were reachable, okay? And I just checked with them. They said they are okay to start. Fine. I'll just share the recorded video. You just watch it. You can practice this one. What will the next session? We will have it on this Thursday and Friday. We just did the pivoting and unpivoting. And what else we discussed in today's session? We discussed about the data profiling, and this one, okay? And we will speed it up in the next session onwards, okay? This Thursday and Friday we'll have it, okay? Fine. Any questions so far? Extremely sorry. I just preponed it. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, and you can this Thursday and Friday onwards we can streamline it. Okay, fine. Since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up. We'll upload the video. All of you are aware of your channel. I just quickly show you. Yeah, you are asking Amshini, right? This detail where how I can download. For example, this is your GitHub. You just go here. This is the link, you have it. And here, if you see here the code, right? Next to that, if you click on it, the drop down, the code, right? In the code, you will find the drop down thing and click on the download.zip. Once you click on it, the entire zip, all the files will get, compressed in the zip format. You need to uncompress it, unzip it. That's all. Okay. You get all the files. The other option is you can go and download from my website. There also we have the data set, but that requires a login. Here you don't need a login here. Simply go ahead and download it. Okay. And what other questions you asked, Amshini? Okay, this is the one. Let me just check what other questions that you asked. Yeah, the GitHub. How can I extract the data from Excel file? There is no straightforward way of doing it. You need to download the Excel file and then you need to load it. Okay, for CSV files, you can use the web interface and you can you can load the CSV file from GitHub into your Power BI desktop. And Excel, you don't have any other way out. Okay, so you need to download and load it. That's all. Okay, I guess I answered 2 of your questions. Any other questions?
Hi Satya. The third one is about that it somehow like cloned all your the fantasy file into my GitHub. Is it way to remove that?
Why you want to clone it? You just download it, zip
No,
file, it is
no, I did not clone it. It's by automatically like I just opened two sites at the same time. I'm just like
no,
doing that.
what I would suggest, right? You just go here,
Uh,
click on code and download zip. That is enough. You get all the files. And if you
no,
want to
I
clone it,
already
you just do Googling. No, I don't remember it, how to do it. Okay. And you just
okay.
Googling. So how to clone repository from GitHub.
Do
That's
you
all.
want me to share my screen right now? Do you have time?
You can give it a try now.
Okay.
Give it a try. See, it's all available in certain things. I would, don't get me wrong. Certain things